I think it is important for me to open this video by stating that I am a die-hard Spider-Man fan. I utterly adore the Ultimate Spider-Man run from the 2000s, and I can't think of an animated film I enjoyed to turn on and watch over and over more than Across the Spider-Verse. The 2018 Spider-Man game and the 2020 Miles Morales continuation are easily some of my favorite games from the current gaming generation, and an absolute must-play for any PlayStation 5 owner, in my opinion. And while I find those games to be incredible, amazing even, I have to be honest, this game completely blows both of those out of the water in every conceivable way. I want to make a note that unlike my other reviews, I will be covering spoilers in this review, but I will make sure to alert you on screen when I'm switching over to that, and I will give my review score and my overall thoughts before I hop into a spoiler section, where I intend to rant and rave and cook about how much I just really love this game. First off, the dynamic between Peter and Miles in this game is electric, no pun intended. The way they balance each other out thematically and gameplay-wise is so much fun to play and watch play out on screen. Peter's heavier hitting and technical style of gameplay is great for clearing out large waves of enemies or really knocking down a tough one, while Miles' dexterous speed and flexibility makes him great for stealth missions and clearing out groups quickly. I wish the game let you switch mid-combat, as this would further be emphasized, but overall it's a very minor complaint and I didn't even think about it till I was writing this review. One of the biggest improvements this time around is gimmick missions with side characters. They're significantly more enjoyable and well-paced. They don't interrupt the story's momentum, they're long enough they don't feel shoehorned in, and they're short enough to not outstay their welcome. I genuinely enjoyed them a lot this time around, and certain characters' horror-style mission is one of my favorites, but I'll dive into that more in the spoiler section of my review. There are also plenty of upgrades and cosmetic suits to choose from, with all these basically being doubled since you're now split between two Spider-Men, Miles and Peter. They have a shared skill tree that has different mechanics like dodge timing and movement, whereas their individuals focus on their specific personal movesets. While some people may find this annoying, I did enjoy the game locking out certain skills and outfits during canonical sections of the game. This was done back in 2018 for the Doc Ock boss, but this time around it feels way more relevant and happens in a more fitting way in my opinion. As for the map, it's now doubled in size, allowing you to travel across the Hudson and explore areas like Queens and Coney Island. A very welcome upgrade to say the least. This is only exemplified by the incredible traversal upgrades this time around. I adore using the wingsuit. It's so much fun. Traversal is smooth, upgraded swimming physics are just the perfect cherry on top. Wing gliding off the Empire State, into a web swing loop, back into the wingsuit to catch the wind tunnel across the Hudson is one of the many cool combos you can perform while traversing. It's genuinely so exhilarating to just explore New York like this. The biggest compliment I can give this exploration is that I have 100% at all areas for collectibles, got the Platinum Trophy, and only used the fast travel 3 times, and that was only in the post-game in order to grab a few achievements before quitting. The game has also added more customizable settings. You can tweak certain difficulty to individual settings such as max damage but no extra enemy health, or do you want to turn off fall damage to make collectible hunting easier? Some may see this as a novelty, but I think it's cool. It allows things like challenge runs to happen throughout the game. Now let's talk about where this game really shines. Its story. Oh, I love the story for this game. It's incredible. It's top 3 Spider-Man stories I have ever experienced, and it is definitively my new favorite take on the Venom and Black Suit Spider-Man story. As for new characters who have shown up this time around, I really liked Harry Osborn. He was written really well and was significantly more interesting than usual, in my opinion. His plan to heal the world, as he mentions in the trailers, is a huge and key point that goes throughout the story, and what it means to give up on your dreams or how to adapt them when faced with challenges is something that Miles and Peter both face across their personal journeys on this game. They're both dealing with loss and dealing with it in different ways, and trying to move forward in their lives, Peter with his relationship with MJ, and Miles with the grief of losing his father. Seeing Peter help and mentor Miles, only to watch Miles mentor and help Peter, is an amazing dynamic to watch unfold, and I truly never got tired of it a single time throughout the story, and by the end, I found myself loving both of the Spider-Men for different reasons, but still equally as much. No Spider-Man feels like they have too much screen time or too little. Insomniac has done an incredible job of balancing both of them and giving each of their character arcs room to breathe and intertwine with each other. I think it is worth throwing in a quick note that if you're a fan of previous Spider-Man games, even all the way back from the PlayStation 2, like Ultimate Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2 Movies tie-in, or the Web of Shadows game on PlayStation, you'll find that environments have cool little Easter eggs or homages to these games. It's not just a love letter to the story of Spider-Man, but also Spider-Man within the gaming sphere as well. As somebody who grew up with these games, that was really awesome. Overall, not only is Spider-Man 2 the best Spider-Man game, but it's the best superhero game. and maybe even my personal game of the year for 2023. Jury's still out on that. It's a masterclass in action game storytelling, with top genre gameplay that only Insomniac could deliver. Mixed in with one of the best Spidey stories ever told, you just can't put it down, even after 100% completion. I'm giving Spider-Man 2 a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece, and hands down, one of my favorite games ever made. I utterly love this experience, and I really can't recommend it enough. Now, onto the spoiler section of this review. If you do not wish to hear spoilers, leave now. I'm going to jump into them immediately, and I'm going to show footage of the endgame bosses and zones, which, by just looking at, are immediate spoilers. So please, jump out of here if that's not what you want to see. Okay, let's get into the juicy details, shall we? First off, I played a lot of Web of Shadows and Ultimate Spider-Man growing up, so I love those games and I like their portrayals of Venom. Specifically, I enjoyed the Venom levels a lot in Ultimate Spider-Man, and I loved the way New York was set up infested by symbiotes in Web of Shadows. So, if you've beaten the game and are watching the spoiler section, then you know I was thrilled that we got a Venom level and thrilled that we got symbiote-infested New York. At these graphics and fidelity, it was so cool seeing it. It really felt like seeing something I enjoyed as a kid, upscaled to a modern high graphics level. I really felt like I was 14 again, experiencing those games and having a great time. Not only did we get symbiote-infested New York, but we got Eldritch-style Old God Venom, hunting Miles with cosmic horror visions, or Peter with horrifically mutated symbiote henchmen. I'm not sure if Venom had bat wings in the comics, but this was the first time I'd seen him like that, and it only added to his Cthulhu-like presence during the game's last act. There were some other more subtle references. I'm not sure if this was direct, but, and I kind of mentioned this earlier with the details of changing, difficulty. You can adjust swing sensitivity and adjust swing assist. I noticed when I turned it all the way down, it felt like the old school Spider-Man PS2 swinging. I don't know if this was a direct reaction to people saying they wish they had more of those physics back, and I don't even know if this was in the original game, but it was really, really cool to check out. As I mentioned a minute ago, we got an Ultimate Spider-Man style playable Venom level, which was a nice callback. I wish we had more than one, but I'm really not going to complain. The one we got was long, and it even played out like one of those old school Spider-Man PS2 levels. I mean, I just loved fighting Kraven as Venom. It was so much fun. It reminded me kind of, running from the ship throughout Oscorp and then jumping into Times Square. The level with Silver Sable, if you've ever played Ultimate Spider-Man, it kind of reminded me of that, running through the city. It was really, really cool. Kraven fighting Venom in the concrete jungle was just amazing, and it also really sets up nicely for the game's last act. Kraven stating that he wants the perfect warrior's death, only to eventually be bested by the ultimate beast himself, Venom, was a really great way to have Venom take over main antagonist, and set up the true fear that we have, and should have, of Venom taking over New York. Now, some may have found this controversial. To be honest, I haven't looked online very much. It seemed to be positive, but we'll find out, I guess. Of changing Harry to be Venom instead of Eddie. This is not to say that I don't like Eddie Brock as a character, but I found, instead of a vengeful Eddie, a sick Harry much more compelling. His death is only held off by the suit, and even though he's losing himself to the very monster that's keeping him alive, he sees it as the only way to not just survive, but achieve his goal of healing the world. Although, be it, it's twisted now by Venom's desire to spread itself throughout Earth. This also elevates the storytelling of Peter not giving up the suit. Not only is it about him wanting being more powerful, but it also keeps him from healing his best friend, which eventually wanes their relationship. He's sending him to a quicker grave, even though in Peter's mind, he thinks by becoming a stronger Spider-Man, he can actually finally save everyone. Peter is convinced that if he doesn't keep the suit, everyone he loves is dead anyway, and that he needs to be strong enough to protect them, because he's been grieving Aunt May's loss since he could not save her in the first game. This takes the symbiote story and makes it so much more tragic, because it's not just about power, but it's also about how power corrupts and damages everyone and everything around it. In the same vein, we get to see how the symbiote affects the relationships of other characters, like having Mary Jane turn into Scream. That was a huge shock for me, and definitely an emotional moment. It was the boiling point of their relationship, and watching a gut-ridden Peter not only have to fight his best friend, but also the love of his life, turned into horrific aliens, due to his own shortcomings, was just an incredible, incredible turning point. While all of this is eventually playing out, we also have the tandem storyline of Miles fighting his personal angst about the death of his father at the hands of Mr. Negative. His journey through grief and forgiveness gives an amazing jumping off point for Miles to have sympathy towards Peter about the black suit, and their fight between each other was my favorite in the whole game. Seeing Peter desperately think he needs this power to save everyone, while Miles telling him that it's that very power that destroys everything he loves, is an incredible emotional point. I mean, I really can't tell you how much I love this fight. Lore-wise, and gameplay-wise. It was so cool, and it had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. Speaking of people, quote-unquote, fighting with Peter, I loved the MJ stealth mission of running away from Symbiote Peter. Yeah, it was short, but it was such a cool sequence, and it really hammered home how much of a monster Peter was becoming. I got a little bit jump scared at one point too, so it was nice they kept me on my toes, even though I thought they wouldn't. While people were rightfully critical of the MJ story missions in the first game because they sort of killed the momentum of the story, this time around, playing as Mary Jane actually pushes the plot forward, and her gameplay has been vamped up instead of just kind of Walmart brand Metal Gear Solid. There's some actual stealth going on and some actual combat, so that you're not just sulking around for a little while until you get to be Spider-Man again. I know some people won't like them, but I really enjoyed it this time, and like I said, the Symbiote Peter one had me grinning from ear to ear. I really liked it. I also enjoyed the new side missions and optional bosses throughout the game. People like Mysterio or Chameleon and Carnage being teased as DLC villains, with some great quest lines, and I think I would even check them out again in a second playthrough. They were just that good. So wrapping things up, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, as I said before, is a masterpiece. It will easily go down as one of the best PlayStation exclusives, and I couldn't recommend it more. I've really been enjoying it myself, and I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe and support me at my other links below. Tell me what you want to see next. It really helps support me, and it really helps me keep the good vibes rolling. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Play Spider-Man, enjoy it, have a great time. Love you, everybody. Peace!